What's poppin', y'all? We back with another episode of the Squid Games Aftermath podcast. I am your host, DeAndre, aka Player 288, and today I have a very special guest with me, one out of the 6 players on the show that can speak Korean and from Korea, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Jinwoo, Player 30. What's happening?
Yes, sir. What up, DeAndre? Gotta stop you right there. Pronounced Jinwoo for my Korean fellas. But it's all good, man.
Oh, good.
You
No,
literally
you're not gonna
pronounced
cancel
it.
me.
You said it how it's spelled, so no worries, bro.
Jinwoo.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Jinwoo, my friend
Yes, sir.
Jinwoo,
Yes.
educating me right now. Yeah, so I mean, look, I've been saying it wrong for the longest time.
you good,
I
bro?
apologize. So
You're
I'm
fine.
definitely adamant on getting people's names pronunciation right because I am someone who had my name mispronounced a lot growing up. So I definitely know it's one of those things where it's like it's fine, but at the same time you want people to get it right. So
For sure. But you killed it with the other parts. 1 of 6 Koreans, it's true. One of the few native speakers. So yeah, was out there repping, man. Was out there fighting hard.
hey, that's right, man. You was taking care of business. I did actually get to interview one of the other 6 Koreans so far. Can you guess who it is if you haven't seen?
I'm gonna say player 53 Rex since he seems pretty active. If not, I'm gonna say Chaz.
Wrong.
Really?
Try again.
Joel?
Wrong. Try again.
Hold up. Okay, now Joel. I know, no, Kevin's not Korean. Now it's gonna bug me. Hold on, give me a second. There aren't that many. Chaz, me, Joel's half. YJ. Was YJ?
Nope. Sorry, not YJ.
It
I'm
wasn't
just
YJ.
saying yes. No.
All right, you gotta tell me who it is.
All right. The last player is Tayo.
He's not Korean.
He speaks Korean.
That's true. He got that 107 tattoo in Korean, man. So props. He actually got that blessed by me.
Well, he's 192. Player 192. Player 192.
Well, that's not Tayo,
that...
right? Tayo 107?
Well, not that Tayo. So he has like 2 or 3 different names. His name is... Look, it's 192. All right. His name's Tayo, but he has his real name's different. His real name's different.
Is he the one with the ponytail up?
Yeah.
Oh, that bro's Korean? Well, I guess I'm 1 of 7 then, man. I did not know he was Korean.
Yeah. He's German and Korean. So.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's him. But with the size a little guessing game sideshow from the beginning, we're gonna get into it, man. Jinwoo, why did you decide to apply for Squid Games the challenge?
Yeah, it was
Jinwoo. Sorry. Let me start that over.
You good?
Jinwoo.
Yeah,
Jinwoo.
It's like the letter G and like a new pair of shoes.
Jinwoo.
There you go.
Jinwoo, why did you decide to apply for Squid Games the challenge?
Yeah, honestly, it's props to my wife, man. So being Korean, we were big fans of the show Squid Game. We're into a lot of other like Korean cinema, Korean shows, movies, and all that. But yeah, Squid Game was awesome. Like it took the whole world by storm. So we obviously loved it. When my wife, she found out first that the challenge was going on, so she saw the Netflix post, sent it to me, said I should apply. I play a lot of sports regularly, like tennis, basketball, and soccer are my main ones. You could probably tell by the underwear ball that I made in there because I was bored as hell, man. So I made that. But yeah, being super active, loving Squid Game, also liking board games and stuff, I thought it was a perfect opportunity. Jumped on it, honestly didn't expect much, sent in the video. And the next day when I was at work, just grabbing lunch with my coworkers, I got a call. Like, oh, this is so-and-so from Netflix. And at first I thought it was a spam call. I was like, yeah, no way. But then I thought, how would a spammer know that I applied? So one thing led to the next, and yeah, here I am now speaking with DeAndre, 288, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's lit. I only can imagine you know, at your regular job, and then all of a sudden you get this, and it's like, whoa, like this is insane. So when you get the call, and you know, they ultimately tell you that you're on the show finally, what's going through your head the last day before you leave home?
Yeah, what's going through my head is shit. I feel bad because I'm leaving my 3-week-old baby. So it's funny.
3 weeks, Jesus.
3 weeks, man. Yeah. Are you married? You got kids?
No kids.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, it was our first one too. So throughout the whole application process, we didn't know exactly when it would film. And when we found out the date, we were like, damn, this is like a couple weeks after the due date. So yeah, left a 3-week-old, my daughter at home. So I honestly was like, shit, I feel bad for my wife, but at the same time, I'm super excited for it. So it was half of being feeling sorry and half of I'm gonna go get this bag. So I'll be back with 4.56. So yeah, felt good, man.
That's right, man. He's gonna come back and bring it to the baby, and you're gonna shower the baby and
Of course.
$100 bills, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna fill the crate up.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
And the ones, man, the Korean ones.
That's right. That's right. So we're gonna give real quick an episode 1 through 5 recap of Jinwoo's game. We're gonna condense it down so we can get to the recap. So Jinwoo gets in the game. He kills red light, green light, no sweat off his back. He follows his own personal strategy, which is
Diving, bro. And DeAndre, you know what? You say it cool, so I'm gonna let you say it the wrong way because you're butchering my name, bro.
Jinwoo.
Jinwoo.
Jinwoo. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going every time I say it wrong, just do this in front of the camera, man.
Okay. I got you.
Jinwoo.
Yeah, like the letter G and like a new pair of shoes, man.
I'm so sorry, my brother. I
You're
apologize.
good,
I feel like a horrible host right now.
It's all good, bro.
But anyways, Jinwoo, what was your strategy?
Yeah, my strategy. So luckily I was in the front row when we started. So I feel like that was a good opportunity. At the same time, it came with risk because I feel like the adjudicators, they went hard, man, and the people in the front row. So my strategy was, as I'm sure a lot of people read on articles, that shit was hard. It's shown for 5 minutes, lasted like 7 to 9 hours. Luckily I finished on the earlier side, so I finished with about 2 minutes left, closer to that 7-hour mark. But yeah, freezing for 20 to 30 minutes, man, in the 23-degree weather, 5 degrees Celsius, like that was nuts. So my strategy was dive down on the floor because I did not trust myself to be standing up in that temperature without shivering. So that was what I did. And I heard afterwards that like the people behind me that saw that started doing the same shit. So like we were running, get up, run for 3 seconds, dive down, and just try to get in a somewhat comfortable position for the next like 20, 30 minutes, man. But yeah, in that darkness, like with my head down, a lot of like deep in thought, just thinking I cannot leave during this game. So honestly, it was like a big mental challenge, but that was my strategy, man. Get up, sprint, and dive.
Hey, man, you had the king strategy because that was my same strategy, bro.
Hey,
we did the same thing. You
Great
put your
minds
head
think
down.
alike.
That's right, man. You put your head down. You can hear the machine when the heads turn. So when the head turns back, you can't see the clock, but you have an idea of when it's about to start. So then you can prepare yourself. So that was the same exact strategy I used because I didn't trust myself either.
Right.
And it went on through.
Yeah, we made it, man. So there we go.
It, man. Success. So we move on to the dorms. We get in there, do our thing, and it's time for the second game, which is Dalgona.
Yes, sir.
Jinwoo gets into the line, and he selects.
So I chose Umbrella at first. And here's the whole story. I was with, at the time, my main squad, like 003 Ike, 021 Emma, 053 Rex, 004 Chris from Dubai, and a bunch of others too. But we go to that line together, and something just doesn't feel right. So, I mean, as you know, we were in there for a decent amount of time before they said, here's the exact number by row, lock it down. Yeah, something just didn't feel right, and I decided to leave for line 2. But as I was doing that, I told my bros, I was like, yo, you know what, I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna tell you guys to come with me because I don't want to lead you to Umbrella. You know, I have no idea. It's just based on my gut. But I left. It turns out they got Umbrella. I ended up getting Triangle. So I looked out there, but at the same time, kind of sucked to see none of them come back. So lucked out with Triangle, and I made it.
He took care of a Triangle. That was a very, very, very wise decision.
Yeah.
And he is still in the game. Moving on. Moving up, moving on like the Jeffersons. He out of here.
Hey.
So then Jinwoo moves on to the dorms where we have we have a test, and it's an elimination to vote someone out. Just who did you vote for in this elimination to vote out? When everyone's in the line, you got to pick 3 people.
Yeah. Before I give my response, props to my brother DeAndre getting the name right the 3rd attempt. But hey, I feel like he got it now. It's my man.
I'm gonna keep just saying it. I just gotta say it, and then it's gonna just be natural. So I'm gonna keep saying it.
There you go. Yeah. Elimination. So what was his number? The
So
dude
it
that
was
left.
374
Yeah.
Andy, 330 Dr. V, and 161 Lorenzo.
All right. So I'm gonna spill some stories. So before that third challenge. So this was after Warships, then, wasn't it? The elimination.
After Marbles. Or no, after Dalgona.
I think the elimination
This is
after that.
after. Sorry, I skipped. I skipped it. I skipped the phone.
Good.
Sorry, I skipped the phone. Yes, this. So let me rewind real quick. You
Good.
get back to the dorms. The phone happens. 198 goes home, and now it's time for the third challenge, which is Warships. So
Yes.
Jinwoo gets into Warships, and he selects line number
7, I believe. I was on same team with Tayo, Figgy, Brownie was our captain, Daryl was our lieutenant, so I was on that spot.
So Ty, he's in Tayo's line. Jinwoo selects that boat, well, that team essentially, and you are on a boat. And unfortunately, your team loses.
We do.
And yes, your whole team, your captain's out, 2 of the boats is out, but you survive. You a survivor like Destiny's Child, man. And you getting up out of here. Real quick, how you feeling after your team loses but you survive?
Shitty, man, honestly. So our matchup was at the very end. Our matchup was the one against Dr. Rick's team. So like Rick is the last one. It's down to the last shot. Dan puts it on Rick. He's like, Rick, which one should I go with? Rick chooses right, and obviously our team goes down. And like it hit Tayo's ship, and that was the last one that went out. So it was a shitty feeling, man, because waiting in that room, in the weight room before we went, we were in there for a good like 6 to 8 hours legit, because we were the last matchup that went. And I mean, as you know, DeAndre, when you were there, like, dude, filming takes a fuck ton of time. So the waiting period was really long. We made a lot of good relationships within that 6 to 8 hour like time period. And yeah, it was honestly, we thought it was tug of war like everyone else. We were strategizing and shit, and we go in there to find out it's Warship. I go into a 2-person boat with Chad, 286. Yeah,
Yep,
286 Chad. And yeah, our ship doesn't get hit, so thankfully we survive. But honestly, it's a shitty feeling, like losing just eight awesome people that I met not too long ago. It's a shitty feeling.
Yeah, that's tough, man. But hey, it's the name of the game is to survive, and that's what you're doing, man. Okay, I see you.
Yes, sir,
So
yes, sir.
that's right. We get back to the dorms, and it's time for a vote off. And the vote off concludes. This is what you were gonna say. So go ahead and say your backstory real quick.
Yeah, for sure. All right, in the waiting room. So we all think it's tug of war, right? So we are strategizing, and it's literally us and the other team at the other side of the room. At that point, there's plenty of space in that big room, right? So we're at one corner, we're strategizing, and fucking 374, bro. I forget his name, like Andy or Andrew or something.
Andy, yeah, Andy.
Andy. Nothing against the guy. He's a nice guy, okay? But he was hella annoying in there. And he would just straight up be like pacing around the room and acting, and just honestly just like eavesdropping blatantly. Like he would walk and then just act like he's like moving his shoe or some shit, and like stop right in front of our group when we're talking. Pace around the room again, stop in front of us slowly, try to listen in. Like later just straight up was annoying. Like we would be talking and we look and he's just doing like the fucking like third grader, like turned around like a stupid ass face, like looking at us like that. Like he was straight up just trying to piss us off. And we play Warship. Obviously our team loses, and Andy's boat wasn't sunk, so he was back in the dorms. And because everyone on my team, like at the time, fucking hated this guy. We're like, dude, this kid's so annoying. Like he's looking at us just like he's like in third grade. He's just super annoying with his comments. So people who
like
left,
what comments? Like what comments?
what did he say? He had a back and forth apparently with Dr. V, and like they had some smack talk supposedly. I didn't hear it personally, but he said something to Dr. V like, you guys are going down. Dr. V was like, hope you bought your plane tickets because you guys are going home right after this. So again, I didn't hear this firsthand, but I heard that he came up, tried to like talk some shit. But yeah, I didn't hear it personally. I heard from my teammates, but I know my teammates were really annoyed of him. The people that left the game, a lot of like big characters that were really popular, not that others weren't, but more shown on Netflix too. Like Biggie was on that boat, Megan, Kaio. So we lost a lot of good people. Well, you know, I'm gonna have to shout out everyone else now too, because I'm gonna feel like a dick. Kwame, Stephanie.
I got the numbers if you need the numbers.
think I'm almost there. I got 2 more. Kwame, Stephanie, Megan, Figgy, Tayo. Camilla wasn't on our team. Shit, but
So
anyway, we got
now go
2
ahead.
more.
We
No,
have who was your captain? 57?
Brownie.
No, Brownie. That's right.
With Daryl. Don't remember her number.
They didn't go in order of the show. So you guys lost players, numbers. Steven and Rick.
It was like 107, 31, 33.
Oh god. All right. Quick intermission. Hold on. We're gonna find this real quick.
Like, honestly, I'm good with time
Brownie. Yep, got it. Okay. So Brownie was not your captain. Yes, your captain.
He was our captain, yeah.
So Brownie was your captain. You guys sink the 2 boat. And then you guys lose Figgy 33, 103, 248, 297 is you just said his name, Kwame.
Yeah.
And 35. You guys lose those 5.
Megan, yep. And then I think the 2 people I forgot. One was Syed. That's right, Syed. And one more female who is not in this picture. But yeah, you numbered all of them. So anyways, we lose those people. We lose those 8 people. And we survive 5. So like teams of 15, 8 plus the captain and lieutenant, 10 people are gone.
Yep.
And we had myself, Chad 286, AK 090, my 287, and Dr. V survived 330, I believe it was. So like the 5 of us are there feeling gutted, and we're like, shit, this sucks. But in the dorm, once we find out it's an elimination, I went around to everyone and I started talking about what's his number again?
374.
374. So I gave Andy 1 chance. So we kind of went in the bathroom, and I just like, hey, what's up, man? Like, good fight yesterday, and just wanted to see this kid's tone, like see how he was. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but gave me the vibe that he was just like, bro was like a fucking dick. So I was like, okay, well, we're gonna eliminate this guy. So I started going around telling people, I say, were you guys close to Figgy, Tayo, a lot of the other people? If you were, and you don't have anyone that you strongly feel that you want to vote for, then I would say cast your vote for the people on our team that lost, because they would have wanted this bro gone. So because of that, we started spreading that around, and a lot of people voted for him. I know on the show, it actually shows as if he like volunteered to go home. Dude, bro did not want to go home. Like as he got nervous and he started hearing his number thrown around, he was going around to people like trying to play friendly. And then later he came back to me. Funny enough, he heard I like coach tennis. So he starts like trying to start small talk. He's like, yo, you play tennis? I like tennis. I go to the U.S. Open every year. And at that point, I'm like, cool, bro. Like,
it's a done deal at that point.
I'll say bye to you tonight. But yeah, so you could clearly read what he was trying to do. And yeah, he got eliminated. He was like, by far, I think he had the most number of votes. But yeah, Netflix did not do that justice. I was talking to everyone. I said, let's cast your vote for my fallen teammates. And I'm sure they were glad to see him leave. But again, nothing against the bro, but the game he played was annoying, man. So voted for him, and he left.
Dang, the master strategist.
Yes, sir.
Getting some blood on his hands early.
Yes,
Okay. He said, this is my time. And Netflix did not show that. Release the tapes. I keep saying it. Release the tapes.
I hope so, man.
Well, we orchestrate that. And so then it's time for the second test. And the second test is the Jack in the Box. We get all these players eliminated. Are you, I'll run through this quick. Are you concerned about yourself in this Jack in the Box? Or you kind of just like, I'm cool with everybody on stage?
I feel like I was cool with most people. So yeah, 2 funny stories here. First one, blink on his name. Bro who went up had to pick 2 people, and
so we have Jesse. Jesse went on stage.
Yeah,
Jesse, yeah.
So
Jesse, Joel. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so Jesse's up there. Honestly, I feel fine about everyone, but Jesse's one of the few people I haven't talked to much. And this bro goes for his first pick. He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna eliminate
26."
Yeah, because I barely talked to him up to this point. And I had not talked to him much. So I was like, yo, if this guy picks me and I get out this way, like this is not gonna sit well with me. And he ends up picking 26. So that was the One person I felt a little nervous about, and it was funny, like after he came off, went chatted with him, joked around. I was like, yo, I thought you were gonna pick me. He was joking. He's like, honestly, I was thinking about it because I didn't really talk with you much. So that was funny, and I got to know Jesse better. Like we went out for drinks after the hotel and all, like being eliminated. But yeah, that was the one person I was a little nervous about. Second funny story, no one wanted to be visible, man. So Jack in the Box, and you don't want to remind people of your number or the fact that you're there. So it was literally people were like standing, and then as Jack in the Box progressed, we all just like became like one line, and people just started standing behind each other. So it's funny, like in the clip, there are a couple screenshots of like from behind me where it's filmed, because my ass is standing in the way back. I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to be seen. So it was like me, Chad, AK, the people on the same squad when we lost. Like all of us are just standing in the way back. So yeah, I'm just trying to stay out of people's eyes, people's sights, man.
Hey, out of sight, out of mind in this frame, and fortunately, no one calls your number, and you
Yeah.
good to go. We lose some people, but hey, it's down to the final 63 people, and this is where we get the picnic blankets and the treat, the reward. They would say,
Yeah.
and it's time to pick people, and you decide to pick 445 Chapman. Why do you pick him?
Yeah. So I was first in line with AK 090 because, like I said, we were bros. We were part of the same Warship squad, so we know how it felt to just suffer that pain together. Him and I were in the same line together, or partners. And then last minute, I said, you know what? Like, honestly, this is fishy. A picnic, like out of the blue at Squidgame. I feel like something's up. So I asked the group in front of us, which was Eddie, like the dirt bike rider, and Chapman, because them two weren't really like that close either. They were just in line together. So I said, you guys want to swap partners just in case? They said they were chill with that. So AK went with Eddie. I went with Chapman. So I felt a little better about playing against someone who I hadn't talked with that much at the time. Through the picnic, Chapman was dope. He was a super cool guy. I'm glad I got the chance to connect with him and play marbles with him. But yeah, that was the thought process. And honestly, I feel like that's probably why our whole thing was edited out, because we had a great marbles match. It was like very high scoring, very competitive, but like no drama whatsoever. I was like, yo, Chapman, like this is the game I think we should play. You want to do it? And he's like, yeah, that sounds good, man. Like zero drama whatsoever. So it was a friendly match. Chapman was an awesome guy, but that was the thought process.
Yep, and that's where we enter episode 6. We
Yes,
made
sir.
it. So
We made it.
the players enter the arena, and the arena looks epic. So describe the arena for the people back home.
Well, it's dope, man. Honestly, like being a big fan of Squidgame, you have that like vision, like what you hope it would look like, and the set looks just like that. They had the whole projector with the clock that's shown on the show. They have that thing really on point. I was really impressed with the little details that they got right. So being Korean, I was born in Korea. Up until I was 3, I moved to the States, and then I was pretty much in Chicago my whole life. But for a short stint, for like a year and a half, I went back to Korea for like kindergarten, elementary, for first grade. So like I have memories of Korea then, and then also when I would visit. But those, they call them shigoru. So shigoru is kind of like the ghetto. I don't want to say necessarily ghetto, but like more of just like not a lot of people living there. It's kind of run down. So it was kind of like that of Korea, and that's how the set was. Like the fences, you can see it's very rusty, and like laundry is on a string and it's all attached, and like people are hanging their laundry up and stuff like that. So those little details I was really impressed about. That Netflix got right. So yeah, this shit it was dope.
Yeah, no, it definitely reminded me of the show, and
Yeah.
it was amazing. Like I was noticing the little details with, like, you saw a couple torn up looking bikes. You saw just the lawns looking just with random items in them, and I was just like, wow, they really got this down to the T. I wish they would have shown a little bit more, because they kind of went through the marbles somewhat quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was epic. Like probably one of the nicest looking sets they made in the whole entire thing.
Agreed.
So the game starts. Unfortunately, so this is what I have. I get all the numbers that are lined up. So we get 301 versus 302, Leanne and Trey, of course. 254 versus 87, 278 versus 229, Felicia and Ashley.
Yep.
337 versus 451, 331 versus 339, 221, it's 179, so yada yada yada. We get the pairs up. Everyone seems to be upset when they find the marbles. Was that the general consensus?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, honestly, we weren't too surprised. Like, we were not the first ones in our section. So Chapman and I were sitting in the way back. Probably another reason we weren't shown. Like, my strategy in there the whole time, bro, I was there to win the damn money. I was not there to get screen time. I mean, make friends, like, yes, but I was there to win. So my strategy was stay low key, stay out of sight, get through all the games as best I can, and then when I have to like play against other people, I play against other people. So we were sitting in the way back left corner, and we heard a group in front of us. So like the way Netflix edited it, they show it as if 301 and 302 are the first ones to discover the marbles. Maybe that's true, I don't know. But like in the backside, being able to see everyone, we like pretty early knew that there were marbles. I think it was the group in front of us, so props to them for finding them first. Because that, again, being able to see everyone, like we knew they were the first group that was like, oh shit. And, like we were able to overhear. Chapman and I look, and yeah, sure enough, we find marbles. So I mean, we were both like, you know what, like we're glad we swapped partners. This is what we expected. Let's enjoy the meal and like put our game faces on, you know. But but yeah, so it wasn't like sad or surprising or anything. It was like, well, shit, man, we're at Netflix. We didn't do any challenges for 2 days now. Like it's time for a game, so let's get on with it.
It's time for a game, enough with the test. So we get on. The kid game of marbles is determining everyone's fate, just like in the show. The announcer comes on and says each group has 20 minutes to play the game of marbles, and the marbles game can be played in a way the pair agrees. How do you guys determine to play your game of marbles? And give me the whole rundown on that process.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am gonna definitely go into detail here because, like I said, our match was dope, man. So, I lean strongly towards a throwing game. Earlier, I mentioned I play a lot of sports. Like in the dorms, I made the underwear ball, so I feel pretty good about my throwing or just like anything when it comes to athleticism. In the bathrooms, funny story. The night before, so people that are watching from home won't know that we got the marbles. We actually went to sleep, and then the next morning is when we actually did the match because it takes some time to put the squids on and shit. So I go to the bathroom that night, so we already know we're playing marbles, and I want to practice, man. I don't know if I want to go overhand or underhand. Like it's a marble. I'm used to throwing balls, like bigger basketballs or footballs and stuff. Marble is totally different. So I take our razors and like the razor cap, and I think that's like a somewhat similar size. So I put down a towel. I just start throwing that shit. This was pretty late. This was after everyone was asleep and the bathrooms weren't shut down yet, but they were going to be shut down soon. And like my ass is in there alone, just throwing this, testing whether I want to go overhand, underhand. One of the staff members comes in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm practicing. What does it look like I'm doing?" So she's like, "You got to go back to sleep." So I was like, "Okay." But yeah, overhand was a strategy that I found out. So next day, doing the throwing game, Chapman and I said, let's draw a circle in the sand and just straight up do. We both throw one at a time. If one person makes it and the other person doesn't, whoever made it gets the point. And we played, and the end score was like 10-8 or 9-7. It was, I barely won by 2. But beginning, not gonna lie, when I looked at Chapman with like the curly hair and the glasses, I was like, yo, I'm gonna beat this guy easy. And when I talk with him on the picnic mat, he's like, yeah, I played sports growing up. I'm gonna be a gym teacher. Like that's something that I potentially want to do. I'm like, oh shit, man, gym teachers for marbles, like that might not be easy. So I find out I'm like a little more nervous at this point, but we start playing, and yeah, Chapman's pretty athletic. I don't know if you can base athleticism off marbles throwing, but he's pretty coordinated. Like I make my first one, Chapman makes his, I think, and it's a wash. And we trade a couple, and then early on I go up like 4-2. So I'm up, and the time's running down at this point, maybe like 10 minutes or so. Our agreement was when the clock runs out, whoever is up wins. So regardless of whether it's like 15-4 or whatever, we have to have a clear winner. We wanted to avoid the situation with Dylan and Aurora, where there's no winner. So we said with a minute left, if the score's within 1, we just stop. Whoever was up wins. Or we said up by 2 just to avoid like a deuce situation or something like that. But I'm up 4-2, and then there's one span where we literally, this bro is balling, man. Like I'm making my shots, but this guy's making everything right back. So I think like 7 or 8, we just make them all in a row. And then I get a little nervous, like seeing this guy make everything, who I thought would be like a somewhat easy matchup. So there's one throw I'm not proud of at all. There's like, if we were maybe 5 yards, like 7 yards away, I throw one, but this shit, like it doesn't even slip out of my hand. I just throw it, and it literally goes like 2 yards. It's like the worst throw I've ever made in my life. And I was praying. I was like, yo, this better not make film because all my friends are gonna be so much shit for that. But I do that, and then he starts going on a streak, and because I threw it so bad, I'm like, shit. I started questioning myself. Started going underhand, and then he goes on a run. He goes up like 6-4, so he scores 4 in a row. And time's running out like 5 minutes. I was like, shit, man, I might be going home after this. So I just had to focus. And after that, I was making everything. He missed like 1 or 2, so the game was tied. Time running out, I scored 2 more. So again, I ended up winning by 2, but a very close matchup. And yeah, it was high scoring. I heard some other matchups were literally like 1-0. So we had a high scoring game. It was fun. Nerve wracking for sure. Just thinking about the shit I'm gonna take it home if I lose in marbles. I honestly, they would not care if I lose in any other game, but like a throwing game, if I lose that shit, well, I'm not. I can't go to any of my sports here in Chicago, man. I would get too much shit for it.
Wow, I wish that could have seen some of your guys' game. That sounds epic. I mean, I was just talking to Brad 337, who his game was 1-0. You know,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
So definitely, you guys put on the show, and they need to release the tapes, dude, as I keep saying.
Man, seriously.
Put Junie's game, Junie. So you got me.
All right, I'm gonna see if you get this right here, DeAndre.
All right, here's a test. This is my marble test. Jinwoo. Bro, it's been a long day. Jinwoo. I don't know. See, look, I'm sorry. Apologies again.
No worries.
Yeah, Jinwoo.
Yeah.
If they release Jinwoo's game, Netflix.
Yes, Netflix, please. Release my shit, man.
But you are successful, and you are moving on in the game just as planned, and everything is going just as you want it to go. But I will recap what they show on television, and you can interrupt me if you have any commentary on what I'm saying as well. So they start off showing 339 Jada versus 65 Dylan. They chat about what they should do. 339 says she would be at a severe advantage if they played anything when it comes to throwing because she is not good at it.
Aurora,
and once
not Jada,
Aurora. My apologies. Aurora. And she wants to propose a strategy game. Dylan quickly shoots this down. Then she proposes that they agree on something in the middle ground that's more up to chance. Dylan says he doesn't want to go home because he gets unlucky. He proposes that they still do throwing game, and he'll go left hand instead of right to keep things somewhat of a skill game to still make it fair. She doesn't believe that makes it fair. He says, how that makes no sense. He says she has to be somewhat reasonable. Then we get to 179 versus 221. They begin playing rock, paper, scissors to determine what's the game. Then we get to 361 versus B. They begin their game of throwing marbles into a bin. Then we get a lot of people are doing throwing games at this point, is what the TV is showing.
Yep.
Guess that's the way to go. One team does do actually what they did in the show is like guess how many. I did see that, so that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I would never do that game. It's too easy to cheat. Right. It's too easy to cheat. 229 and 278 are crying together because they're best friends in the game and they know one of their time is up. Then we get to the most interesting matchup, in my opinion, is 393 and 382. They're talking about why they want to win. 393 is deaf, which we find out, and wants to represent them. And we find out 382 is deaf too. Who knew? We missed this whole storyline. It's like they just entered the game. Then 382 says to 393, are you playing the sympathy card? Because he is surprised she hasn't ever taught him anything. Everyone is shook hearing this. I did not expect this to go this direction.
Let me stop you right there, DeAndre. Quick story to share there. So I was in the dorm, one of the first ones that was there when Jackie came in. So Jackie comes in. You can see she's like a little rattled, like she's upset. So like Jackie and I had a few conversations in there. So Phil and Jackie were close. I used my underwear ball. I played soccer with Phil a decent amount, so like Phil and I are pretty chill. Since the three of us have chatted every now and then, like I asked Jackie, like, is everything okay? What's going on? She shares her story, and she told us exactly how it was aired. She said, in the weight room and all, like they were supposed to sit separate, so they weren't talking much. But before like that morning and all, he was acting friendly, like good morning and all, and then they go into the game like 180-degree flip, and he's just like a fucking douchebag. So she told us that story, and we were all like, "Yo, fuck that guy!" Like he apparently owns a clothing store in the UK. Like his shit better get canceled. Like no one better go for this airs, because like, dude, like what a dumbass. Like, and yeah, I was very interested to see how that airs and like exactly what happened. Because not that I don't believe any stories in there, but you know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, it was really how Jackie described it was like literally what he said. And yeah, so she was pretty upset coming back to the dorms. Later, I know it shows her doing like the. I actually asked her. I said, in sign language, what's the hand sign for? I think it was like, "fuck you" or something like that. I asked her, and then she was like something like this. I don't even want to actually imitate it because I'm so wrong. But it shows her clip with her friend later being like, "bad, like fuck off, bitch" or something. But like I asked her, I was the one there in the dorm. I asked her, I was like, "Jackie, well, we got to do this for TV. Like, what's the hand signal that you would do to him?" So yeah, like I asked Jackie, she was upset. Glad at least their matchup aired. Because yeah, Jackie's a badass for winning that matchup.
Yeah, that was pretty, you know, it's my opinion, it's pretty foul of 382 to do that. That was definitely out left field. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen this guy once. I mean, I don't even remember him that much
Yeah, I
either.
talked with him briefly. We talked about like soccer because he was from the UK. I think he said he was like a Brighton fan.
Wait,
But not Brighton the player, Brighton the EPL team.
oh, okay. I
Yeah,
mean, look,
yo,
you can root for whoever you want to. No, I have no problems with 3-4, three,
yeah, yeah,
two,
yeah. It'd
or
be
4,
weird though
whatever.
to be in there if I'm like, yeah, I'm a DeAndre fan. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's just weird to be a fan of another player and like say that.
Yeah,
No. He was saying
yeah.
Brighton the EPL team.
The team, yeah, the UK
Yeah,
team.
but
Brighton Beach, yeah.
yeah. So he was talking. That was like our only brief interaction. Um, he every morning. I don't know. I feel like he was also playing the card. It was funny that he asked Jackie, he's like, "Are you playing the sympathy card?" I don't think he necessarily was playing the sympathy card, but he was playing the old man card. Like, yo, like I'm gonna be super friendly. I'm like the nice old man. But yeah, it clearly turns out he wasn't. So yeah, but I'm gonna say like how low do you have to be as a person to fucking do that to try to win? Like, it's not even like top 3, top 4 at that point, right? There's still 60 something people left. You know, this is going to air on TV potentially, and you're going to say that and try to rattle her just to win marbles. Like, for what? So, I don't know. You got to be pretty low to be doing that shit. And yeah, I hope his business gets canceled because, fuck, man.
Yeah, no, that was not the look, my friend. I don't know if you use Instagram or Twitter, man, but don't go on there because they gonna come after you. So stay
Yeah.
where you at.
Yeah.
Stay using the Pony Express, my friend, and stay away from the internet.
Yep.
So yes, he is definitely a mess, to say the least. 382, he says a sympathy card. Then Jackie 393 says, "Tim, we're not friends," which cracked me up. 382 insists she saved her piece for this moment. 382 insists she saved her piece for this moment to use it as an advantage. 382 noticed that this is the first time she's actually displayed using sign language towards him, and he feels tricked. I don't know why he feels tricked. It's not her duty to like tell him this,
Right.
especially if they weren't friends, but I digress. 393 says she feels bad for him. He doesn't feel bad for her because he tells her she is going home. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Then we get a pan of Trey and Leanne doing their little thing. I'll just fast forward through theirs. They have an emotional time. They're crying. They decide to do a throwing game. It's emotional for them too. We get the point at this point. Then we get to, they go back to Jackie and Tim's game. And so this is interesting. I'm curious your opinion on this. So when you watch it, they're setting up the game. He gets some sand and throws it in the bucket. I don't know if that has to do with anything. It looked like I was getting all my conspiracy theories together. Like, is he cheating? Like something? So did you?
I'm gonna say I think he was just trying to weigh the bucket down so it doesn't fall.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. But who knows, man? I mean, if he's doing that shit to like try to get ahead and get the mental edge, like who knows what he's trying to do with Sam. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was. He did it real swift, like when her back was turned. So I was just confused on like, I don't know. But I digress again. So then we get back to Sick Dylan and Aurora. Dylan says he will only play a game of throwing, and that's it. Aurora says she's not comfortable with that. Dylan says she doesn't have to raise her voice. She says she didn't Dylan says he thought she was a competitor. She said she's not folding. He disagrees. She says, why are you being so stubborn? He says he's giving himself a chance to win, as she is. Then we get to 197 saying she would give a lot of money. She would give money to a kidney donation center, and she's heavily doing it for her family. 287 says, which is and this is Jada and Mai playing. 287 Mai says her family doesn't trust her decision to be in the military, and a mother at 19. She, from Vietnam and has that whole thing behind her. She says she has nobody and she will never give up. Get 337 or 3451. 451 wins. That's Brad.
Right, I got a lot of shit to say about Mai. I will happily do
go
that.
ahead. Go ahead.
Give me 1 second. Let me read it.
You good?
All right.
Yeah, you good.
All right, sweet. So, on Mai, I'm sure we'll talk about it more because we're covering today through episode 7. Remind me, 6.
We'll get through the end of the picking stuff. So
okay. So I will say there was a lot of shit not shown on Netflix. Stuff that happened in the dorm. I don't know if others shared with you. Dakji. So Rick and I think Steven, right? They play. It shows that the guard brings in a candy bar. They actually brought that in the dorms too, and that was completely edited out. Did you hear about that or no?
Yeah, I heard about that.
You did, yeah. So they brought that in. Our squad, and if you interview player 90 AK, he's gonna probably go off a lot more than I do because he was really upset about this whole Squid. I'm sure we'll get. I don't know if we will the top 20 eliminations and all, but earlier I mentioned we were on the same Warship squad, so it was Chad, Mai, the two who are shown super close throughout the show, AK, player 90, myself, and Dr. V, 330. But Dr. V got eliminated, so it was just the 4 of us. And we had often talked about, in the dorm, we said, okay, it's just the 4 of us. Let's go up as far as we can, and then let's have each other's backs. Once we have to play each other, we play each other, right? Obviously, that didn't happen. So there's a lot of backstabbing going on in the pick of the top 20. Chad 286 clearly did the same thing to Dan. So if you interview Dan, he'll happily say the same thing too. Apparently from Dan, we didn't see this air, right? But what he was saying, Dan, was, I got you. The minute I go up there, I'm gonna choose you. Vice versa, if you get picked, you choose me. So apparently the two of them had a pact. Also what I heard was she was talking mad shit about people. There's the one short clip shown about she's like, I don't trust TJ. And again, this is stuff that I heard that after Netflix released the episodes, I started to trust a lot more, seeing that she was actually talking smack about TJ, straight up lying to people. So yeah, apparently she was going around, she was talking about me and AK. She's like, they're very strategic. Everyone has to look out for them. And then she would come to us and be like, oh yeah, we're on the same squad. How are you guys doing? Let's go up as much as we can together. So when, so the two of them, my snake. I was like, how much do I want to hold back on whether I talk about this or not? Yeah, I'll spill it. Snake. Chad, same vibes. I mean, he was a chill dude. I know it's strategy, right? Nothing against them as people. Everyone plays the game differently. But again, I felt pretty chill about Chad. That was not my strategy, I'll tell you that. I am a pretty easygoing, just play sports, to laugh, and then stay loyal to your friends. Apparently they were not the same way. They were playing games. Again, maybe props to them because they made it further than I did. But AK will tell you the same thing. So I was getting to the story on 286, right, on Mai, or 287.
287, yep. There
was a lot of emotion in there. I'm going to say emotionless emotion, okay? I'm going to say, pretty much acting. So, that Dachi thing comes out. The guard comes in, like they did to Rick, and they gave him the chocolate bar or candy bar. They gave Mai something similar. They gave her, a little bag that only she was able to look at. And everyone in the dorm was looking for what's going on. She starts crying, okay? She looks at it. She was like, oh, and then she goes this, cover her eyes, and walks to the corner and sits on the bench. And AK and I are close enough to see, and we're should we check in on her? Let's give her a moment. A little bit later, we go, we're like, Maya, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And she's fine, bro. She was just she was crying, but she wasn't crying. So like that was the first moment I was like, yo, like kind of a red flag. Like I don't know, maybe she's going through a lot of shit. Who knows, man? Like I was going through a lot of stuff when the show was airing too. So like you don't know people's stories, but I don't know. It was a little weird that she would like cover her eyes and seem like she's crying when I feel like she wasn't all the time. Again, AK will happily validate this story, but yeah, shit was weird, man. And later on, as the show goes, I see a lot of it, and I'm like, damn, kicking myself for why not I see this sooner? I know Dan was very upset about that too. So.
I will say, I'll give a little more context to all your things. So
Yeah.
I'm 288, mine's 287, Chad's
Okay.
286.
That's
I'm
true.
with them.
Actually.
I'm
Yeah.
with them the whole time. So I see Mai I meet her like really, really, really early before the game
Yeah.
even starts. And you know, the lines, you're close to the numbers. That's kind of how you get close. I mean, we were sitting next to each other in that long time before like green light. We had to wait in the we had to wait in line to get in the dorms together. We had to wait in the tent together before we got in the dorms. So you spend a lot of the time with people close by, and I had a lot of conversations with her. And we kind of were like, me, her, because it was 285 through 288 or 289 that all made it through red light, green light. And we're like, we're this group, but we don't need to like talk to each other that much. Yada, yada. It's an unspoken thing. Yeah. And, we got a chance to communicate really often. And, I feel like I get a good sense of people, and she's just kind of one of those people where she's very, she's distrusting a lot of people from the things that happened in her past and whatnot. She explained to me through like her whole life story, and I kind of understood where she was coming from, and so I didn't really harp on it too much. In the dorms, I didn't really see her too much. She was chilling, doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And I always asked Chad about, like, is she good? And she said, yeah, she's cool and whatever. And I remember the last time I spoke with her was when we were getting our squibs on before Dalgona, and we're in our number lines and whatnot. And I was like, how you been? I haven't seen you in a couple of days. And, we had a little talk there, and I was like, so like, what do you think I'm planning on going? She's like, look, between you and me, I don't trust anybody in here. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, so just watch out. And I was like,
if she's, I don't know, man, if she's telling you that, bro, like, she's telling herself as if she trusts you, right? That she's telling you that. That's the thing. Like, if someone comes up to me and they're like, dude, I don't trust anyone in here, like, they sure as hell don't trust me. Like, why are you telling me that? It's like you're trying to buy credibility. That's how I see it. But I am curious your take. Like, I know you mentioned your brief interactions with her. What do you think of, like, after watching the show?
It's a game to win $4.56 million. Hearing her story and whatnot, I knew it already. I think just her background and her upbringing, she's just trying to win the game, man. Like, she has to do what she has to do. This whole play nice thing, she doesn't fly with that. She grew up where it was war and chaos, and she's seen the worst of people. And she basically had to start her life over coming to America. And so I always look at there's two sides of the picture. You can like, well, why is she lying to people? Why is she doing this? Why is she doing that? I think that I won't crucify her too much on her decisions and things she says. Yes, it doesn't look right, but I also know that, she even says she can't trust. She has nobody that she can trust except for her kids, And out of everybody, I think that the money left, at least final three, the money would mean most to her, would help her most. And I just think that she's doing the best thing that she thinks that she needs to win. She's not worried about relationships and friends. She doesn't even have Twitter, Instagram, nothing. She has herself, and that's all she's thinking about. She's not worried about all this other stuff. And she might be putting up a little act here and there. I'm sure she cares about some people, and like, I'm pretty sure she cared about Chad, but she's telling people whatever they need to hear to get where she needs to get to, and she don't care. So that's my viewpoint of it. The way other people feel is perfectly fair. That's just my take on it. So
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Honestly, you're right. Like, we're there to play a game, right? So we're there to win. That's the main motive. So if someone's like, when someone loses, they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, I lost, but that's not what I didn't come to win. I came here to make relationships. Like, bullshit. We were all there to win. If you weren't there to win, like, you're not a competitor, right? So yeah, like, she was playing the game, but yeah, I don't know. That's just not how I would play it, and just very different than what I do personally. So
I feel you, man. I feel you, man. You a finance person, straight to the point, no bullshit. You know, you can't
right,
lie about the stock market,
right,
or else
exactly.
you're getting fired. So we continue. Brad loses, he dies. 404 gets eliminated. 18 passes. Sam. 707 win or 707 77 wins.
Hmm.
So we get back to Aurora and Dylan. They're still arguing. Dylan says she isn't willing to compromise, and she says she's proposed so many games. He says he's not falling for her trap. He says he can't argue with a brick wall at this point. She says she's trying to compromise. Dylan says it's going to be a long 8 minutes left. Whew. Then we get, Leanne coming back, or whatever. 382 loses, 209 loses, 179 loses, 182 wins, 287 wins. I don't know why. Oh, that's I put a smiley face button.
Nice.
286 wins. Put another smiley face by it, and 16 wins. Then we get back to Dylan and Aurora.
Yep.
Aurora says she doesn't want to go home because she dug a hole in the ground. Dylan says she's going to go home because she didn't, which made me laugh. Oh, gosh. Then Aurora caves and says, fine, she'll play his game. They finally start playing. 278 wins. 301 wins, which is Trey against Leanne.
Yep.
87 loses. And then we get back to Dylan and Aurora.
Yep.
They are playing the game, and then they run out of time. Running out of time. Then they try to figure out who won. Aurora says she made hers first, and therefore she should win. And she was the first one to make it in, and she didn't even go first. He says no. He says he's not just going to give her the win. And then they are swiftly eliminated like Thanos snapped his fingers, and they're gone with the wind. Terrible way to go out. Marbles is over. And our friend 30 makes it to top 31. Congratulations. We are moving on up. So, how does it feel to be top 31, man, when Marbles is over?
Feels good, man. Feels good. Top 6.8% out of the batch. Honestly, top, I don't even know what percentage is out of people who applied. We've heard so many different things. Like people, the production team, someone said about 1 million people applied. Someone said 500,000. I think Netflix released something that said 81,000. I don't know what to believe. But all I know is a lot of people applied, right? And to make it to top 31 out of all that, like I was super proud. Earlier I mentioned I was one of a few Koreans. I was proud to represent Korea because I was like one of the few speakers. I did a lot of like interviews in Korean too, and just trying to make it comedic. I think the angle was a lot different than what Netflix was looking for, more like the dramatic, things like that. I was more just chill, joking left and right. So yeah, just was proud to represent Chicago, proud to represent my family, Korea, and all that. So yeah, it feels good, bro. Top 31.
Hey, he's on cloud 9, coach. He's moving on up. He's repping all these people in all these different places, man. This man got what it takes. So then we pan back to the dorms. Trey knows his advantage is over and the playing field is finally leveled. Yes, it is, Trey. Yes, it is. I will leave him. I'll continue. Him and TJ have a little talk in a moment. 451 Phil hurts because his friends are gone, but he needs to move on. Jackie feels more distrustful than ever and is the only person left she can trust is Phil. The guards come back out and they announce there's 31 players left. The piggy bank fills up. Money's in there. The Gombu gang is down to 2 players. Boo-hoo.
Bro.
You said what?
You don't seem too sad.
Man, look now. Some people, I'm ready for them to go home. I'm not going to say who I'm biased towards, except you already heard I like my number squad, but
yeah.
Some people I'm just ready to go. Watch. As a viewer. As players, I love everybody. As a viewer, I'm ready for certain people to go home. 286 thinks 28. So Chad thinks Mai is the favorite. Mai gets introduced officially, finally. She's an immigration adjudicator. She was born in Vietnam and she left when she was 8. When Vietnam fell, she remembers the bombing and the guns that were around her. She remembers a soldier putting a gun to her temple. And she gives a little story about that. Really interesting as well. What do you think when you see this story with your already opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was a story for sure. Like I know she did government related work was that what I understood in the
Yeah.
game, how she mentioned it. So I knew she was doing good work for the country. Didn't really know too deeply like her background, but um, yeah, I mean, I feel like you can definitely root for her, sympathize with her on her story, and like really, it's motivating, right, to hear her story. But yeah, at that point, just months after what it's like 11 months after filming, and having that like bad taste in your mouth, because the minute we after we leave, that's when I heard like, oh yeah, she was talking shit about it. Honestly, if it even wasn't that, if it wasn't like she can backstab, and you don't have to pick person. I'm not obligated to be picked by anyone and vice versa, but that's one thing. Not picking someone is one thing. I think it's another thing to like unnecessary to just go around and spread
Yeah.
rumors. So
No,
that's what really put the bad taste in my mouth, because like never once did I go to her and was like, oh yo, like actually like scheming. We were just talking, like I was just like, how are you doing and stuff like that, and then for her to go to people and say, oh, like almost portray me as a snake and say he watch out for him. She would literally tell people to watch out for me apparently. So yeah,
see
that's what I was pissed about.
that I know that must hit a little hard because you two are, together to a sense of, your descent, the Asian
Yeah.
descent. And so it's like we shouldn't even be a question that you shouldn't even be questioning me because we're like we come from the same people, we're the same culture, and we need to kind of be working together because there's not even that much even any in us in here.
We
And
are Asian, Vietnamese, and Korean. Very
yes,
different things, I'd
yes,
say. But
very
yeah,
different, very different. So no disrespect, no
minority
disrespect.
for sure. Minorities for
Yes.
sure. So
So
yeah,
are
I
you
think
thinking that in the back of your head at all? Like, or is that not even like a thought in your mind?
no, not even that. Honestly, I think more of it came from yeah, like if it was being another Korean too, honestly, like I wouldn't like they're Korean, they're another person. I would more take it as we went through the same struggles together, losing warships, losing our friends. So I thought that was like our commonality, and we kind of understood each other on that end, how it felt. Because like she cried after the team lost in warships. So yeah, I feel like as a team playing sports, you grow together, you grow stronger after losses together, having that same pain, and then really saying let's grow from this. So I feel like that's what I feel like helped us bond more. AK, Chad, her, and myself. But just to feel like that bond and that like understanding was one way and it wasn't perceived that way on the other end. That's what I was a little disappointed about. But yeah, the her whole story, like it's motivating, it's sad, right? And it's like you have mad respect for someone who went through something like that. So yeah, respect for her story. It's funny you mentioned Chad thinks she's the favorite. That's one of very few lines that I actually have on air in the dorm. I asked Chad. So I was I sports bet every now and then for fun. Illinois, like after sports betting open, I was hella happy. FanDuel, DraftKings, and all that. And while we were there was so much downtime in the dorm. So like AK and I are talking, and we were just like giving odds to people like for fun. We're like, yo, what do you think chances of like so and so winning are? And then I'm just joking. I'm like, yo, that person like probably plus 800. I think they're good, but their mentality is too weak. And we would just be like just having laughs. And that was the whole context. Towards the end, I asked Chad who I think his favorite is. But I hate it, man. Netflix, the one line they put in, I'm talking to Chad in third person. The bro is literally sitting in front of me, and the line I have is, who does Chad think is his favorite? And like I say it in the third person because we were joking and saying like my sports book, AK sports book, and the Chad sports book. That's why I'm like, yo, in the AK sports book, who does AK think is the top? So like that's why I'm talking in third person. But the one line that Netflix puts in for me, I sound like a dumbass. I'm like, who's Chad's favorite? I'm like, bro, I was not like, it's like sounds like I barely speak English, bro. Like what the hell? I talk so
Ah!
much. There are a lot of times when like Tayo asked me a question, like we're in the dorms, or no, we're in the room making teams for Battleship. He comes up to me, he's like, bro, you want to make a squad? I'm about to respond. They just cut it to the next person. I'm like, so according to Netflix, I don't know how to talk. So yeah, that was my little rant there. So I'm talking and I'm like, who does Chad thinks is the favorite? So like, sound like a dumbass. That was the context. It was the Chat Sportsbook, okay? Who on Chat Sportsbook is the favorite?
Release
But
the tapes. Release
it's
the tapes.
release the tapes, bro. But yeah, that was my again short rant. But yeah, going back to your question, respect for my and watching that as a viewer, I don't know if I necessarily root for her, knowing like what I went through and my experiences with her, but have respect. And I think seeing that interview, I understand just the angle she's coming from and how she's playing the game, and one way to play it.
Hey, Maya, if you're watching this, Jinwoo has questions, and we need answers.
Me and AK both.
Well, good news is I might be able to get Maya up on here, so we gonna get the question. Well,
Yes.
Chad. I'm pretty sure he has the contacts that I need, and I will get. And
Yeah,
Maya is, she gonna talk to her brother,
Yeah, of course,
So
man.
we gonna get on that. But we continue.
All right, one more hot take, DeAndre. When you interview Chad, then you gotta ask him this. So, AK reached out apparently, and he said, "Chad, hope all is well," like because they haven't talked. Hope all is well, yada yada. He's like, I was just curious why you didn't pick me or Jinwoo for the top 20, because I thought we had those talks about the squad, and Chad just responded, "Hey, hope you're doing well too. No hard feelings, but I didn't have any alliances at that point." So he like totally downplayed it. I don't know if he legit forgot, which to me is hard to believe. But I'm curious his take. So Chad, if you watch this, if DeAndre asks you later, I'm curious too, bro. Like I thought we had our squad. Again, not obligated to pick us, but at least be straight up and be like, "Yo, fucking, I was playing the game." But yeah.
Well, good news for you. I interview Chad tomorrow.
Yes, sir. All right, well, ask him. Ask him, man. Chad, I love you. I love their conversations. Honestly, all of my pictures in there are with Chad. It's me, AK, and Chad standing together. And I think that backs what I was saying. We spend a lot of time talking with each other.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be juicy, coach.
Yes,
That's
sir.
gonna be real juicy.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna make sure to say those things. Okay.
And there are also a lot of Koreans that were like, "How come you didn't get picked?" So yeah, I want to hear it, Chad. Sure, tell us what's up for the Korean fans.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we gonna find out. We gonna find out. So, then the announcer says the next test will begin soon, and everyone the announcer says they need to nominate a leader, and everyone seems to cohesively I ain't gonna say everyone, most people seem to cohesively nominate TJ. Are you one of these people?
I was actually the one that nominated him. So he was telling us a story on the stairs, and that's another one of you'll hear a voice that says, "Yo, y'all good with TJ? Y'all good with TJ?" That was me, and I'm just a voice, no face to back it up.
You are killing me, man.
Yeah, so that was me. He was telling us a story. With being captain comes risk, right? But I feel like TJ likes being in those positions, and thinking to myself, who else would volunteer to be captain or want to lead? I couldn't think of anyone, and I also thought TJ would be, he's very vocal. So I nominated TJ because as he was talking to us, telling us a story, that's when the announcement goes off, you have to be the captain. So like right off the bat, I'm like, "Yeah, TJ." And then again, there's the back and forth where he's talking, he's like, "Yo, y'all trust me?" And then I want to make sure that he wants to do it. Like I didn't force it on him. So I'm like, there's another voice that says, "Yo, TJ, you want to do this, right?" And he's like, yeah, of course." And then like he goes back to his speech. So that voice is me, viewers. I nominated TJ. But yeah, TJ is captain. I was on board with their answering your question. I was on board with the decision. I asked everyone else if they were. Apparently, Chad was not. He was sleeping. I thought that was hilarious. I didn't even realize he was napping. But yeah,
Jinwoo is the one who nominated TJ as captain for the people back home.
Yes, sir.
This man had the utmost faith. So then TJ asked everyone for their trust, and everyone agrees except Chad because he is in bed. LOL. TJ is humbled. He is used to pressure situations. Chad was taking a nap, and he is not happy that TJ is captain, and it's basically ridiculous on how it was decided on how TJ became captain. Chad, you gotta wake up, man. You can't be sleeping through the game. Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. Come on now. But the announcer then says, "Choose your friends wisely." So when he says that, what's going through your head?
Yeah, I know right off the bat, a lot of people out loud are like, "Oh, I hate that. Like, what does that mean?" So, like, I knew something was coming, right? I was pretty chill with a lot of people in there. I was not like, if you ask me, would I be like someone's number one or two? Probably for like two or three people. But for a lot of other people, again, just chill, making jokes, having interactions, playing with the ball together. But like to that extent, like For me too, I'm not the type that opens up and like tells everyone my story. Like I feel like I have to be really close to someone to really open up. So there, I was friendly with people, not necessarily super close with people, for the most part. So I felt a little. I honestly didn't feel that nervous. I felt a little. I was very curious on how many people would be eliminated. Once we heard it was 11 out of the 31, that's when I was like, oh shit! Like the order has to go right for me to get up there, because if not, and it's what happened, it's I know there are a lot of other friend groups that would pick each other, so felt
Yeah.
okay when the announcement was made.
Yeah, this is when the friend groups come into play, but the group comes together and everyone stands with TJ, and he asks everyone to get together and pray, which was kind of a funny scene because we saw some faces.
Yeah, we did.
So then we get 19 is introduced. Amanda, who is an HR manager from Liverpool, she says she has a good eye on what's right and what is wrong. The girls then get together and begin talking about how there's only 9 of them left and they need to stick together. Are you noticing the girls get together, or are you just like, it is what it is?
They did. Fair play on that end. Fair play, like props. That's fair. There was one funny scene. So I think maybe what kicked them off too. They were talking, and I was playing with the underwear ball. We were playing kickball, and Chaz. There was one other Korean that lasted as long as I did. Chaz 187. There's one clip of his ass just in his boxers, like lying down like this, and there's like the bird's eye view. Do you recall what I'm talking about or no? It skims.
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's the Chaz, and he tries to kick the ball really hard, and his shoe flies across the dorm and hits the bunk just above where the females are having their 9-person huddle. And they were pissed, bro. They like looked at us like, what the fuck? Like they thought we like threw a shoe at him or something. So that was funny. But yes, to answer your question, I definitely noticed that was happening because Chaz almost lost his shoe.
Oh gosh, see that might have just set him off.
I think
Chaz,
so.
you got to keep your shoes on, Chaz. Come on, coach. So then we get Maya and Chad say they don't trust TJ at all. Dang. Then we see Dan 204 is trying to set up. He talks about setting up Chad because because they told him that they don't trust TJ. And he's thinking about maybe doing this whole like, I'm gonna tell TJ, and then TJ's not gonna trust them no more. Yada yada yada. Then we get introduced to Dan. He's a physician assistant, and he says letting people talk and be themselves is the best way to predict on what they may or may not do. I stand by that 100%. Let it happen. Yep. The girls keep preaching they need to stick together. Girl power. All the girls, they do their little huddle thing as we just explained. 393 is a little skeptical about this all-women's alliance. She doesn't trust it because she knows women's alliances on the TV shows never work out, and she is right. They really don't ever work out. Coming from a guy who, that's the girl with the deaf. She's deaf. Jackie.
Yeah.
That's Jackie.
Yep.
So then the guards come back out, and they say the test is about to begin. 182 stands up on stage. Who's 182? TJ, duh. TJ stands up on stage, and the guards say only 20 players will pass this next game. So you already said you kind of feeling a little uneasy when they say this.
Yeah.
So then player TJ is captain, and he automatically passes to the next game. So when you hear this and they announce this, what do you think? What's going on in your head?
Lucky bastard. That's all I'm thinking, man. Like, I nominated him. TJ was chill. Like we were chill. I liked TJ. So yeah, when he got the free pass, I was like, good for him. Like no bad feelings. Like oh fuck, like screw that guy, he didn't deserve it. No, nothing like that. So honestly, it was just lucky bastard. Damn, 19 spots, which is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely. So now he must pick one ally to go along with him to the next game, and they must continue picking people until there is only 20 left. So TJ's first round draft pick, NFL draft the Squid Games draft of 2023 is Mai. What are you thinking when he picks her?
Yo, I got some theories, man. When he picked her, I swear what was going on in my head is like, this shit is weird. Like the two of them, I've seen them. I have not seen them talk much. There's the one scene that's shown that aired where like they talk, but their beds were in separate areas. Like from what I heard, Mai disliked TJ. She talked a lot of shit about him. I mean, there's like the one short clip shown that she says she can't trust him. What I heard was there was a lot more smack talk beside just that. So clearly that she doesn't like him, and I didn't think he didn't like her, but I also didn't think he thought of her as like super close. And the reasoning TJ says was she was my right hand person since day one. So what are you talking about, bro? Like I literally never saw them together once. So that's where at first I was like, yo, something's weird. Like something's weird. I don't know what's up. I don't know why he chose Mai, but maybe they had a connection. But all of us were looking at each other like, what the fuck? And there were a lot of other picks within there. I'm sure we'll cover it. That it was a head scratcher for me. So
Well, yeah, no, definitely. Well, you should be happy because this is your perceived ally, you
yes,
know?
honestly, that's what was going through my head. I thought fucking weird, but AK and I looked at each other like, why did he pick her? And at the same time, we were like, yo, we're set. That's literally what we were thinking. So once Mike gets up there, we knew she would pick Chad because like Chad was her main one number apart. You know, she was like massaging his back a lot. We knew the two of them were the closest. But yeah, I mean, once we had that, AK and I thought we're set.
Yeah. So then we continue. So it's Mai's turn. All the girls think Mai will pick one of the girls since they had their little meeting earlier. And she needs to go through with the plan. Mai picks 286 Chad. Shocks all the women. Their mouths drop all the way to the ground. So when she picks Chad, you say you're expecting that. Of course, that's, part of the plan. Amanda is pissed. Dan says him and Chad made a deal. They are supposed to work together. Chad's turn to pick. He picks 254, our redhead Mikey. Not AK, not Jinwoo. What's happening? Jinwoo, not Jinwoo. Sorry, not Jinwoo. What's happening?
Yeah, what is happening? That was the head scratcher too. It was, he said Mikey's story hit home. And yeah, like Mikey's story was awesome. Like he's deserving to have a chance. But I don't know, I just didn't really think they had talked much also. That was another head scratcher. And afterwards, I didn't know that him and Dan had that conversation. Dan let me know after the fact, and like I fully believed it because I was also on the receiving end of that. So not necessarily saying I'm going to pick you, but had that understanding that he made. So
yeah, no, definitely an interesting pick indeed. I mean, a lot of these relationships, I say, you don't get to see a lot, and I wish we got a little bit more backstory on how people picked each person. Like, they gave a reason, and they did explain. So not in the show, I know they had a reason, and they explained the reason, but they didn't really show this on camera. Am I correct, or am I making something?
Correct. Yeah, most of them did say something, but only partially that aired. Yep.
So next it's Mikey, and he picks 77, Marina. I believe they're from the same country. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, that one didn't surprise me. That one didn't surprise me too much. I think the two of them were pretty chill. I saw them spending time together, so yeah, that one was fair pick.
Yep. So Marina's next. She says she's gonna get the ball rolling. She picks 18, which is B. B picks 19, which is no.
I think so.
Yes.
You're right.
Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're best friends. Easy. They were captain, lieutenant together. Not surprised. 19 says to the group that they need to even out the numbers moving forward. She gives a little speech. She said they need to even out the numbers moving forward, and the women are outnumbered, and they need to stick together. It was a longer speech than that, but go ahead and tell me what's going on with you right here when you hear this.
Yeah, when it started going down that chain, I just started counting the numbers in my head. I had theories of who's going to pick who's going to pick who. It's going to have to like loop around, and one of my bros is going to have to get picked for me to get up there. It's either like, a Favor, AK, Chaz, or just any one of the dudes that I was closer with. But in my head, I'm like, it's not going to be until pick like 13 or 14 until that happens, knowing their friend group.
Ooh, it's just not looking good right now. So then 19 picks 393, which is, oh my God, why do I miss her name again?
Jackie.
Jackie picks, Dan is freaking out and doesn't know what's going on. Then Jackie is wanting to pick 451 Phil, her closest friend, and she picks the cliffhanger, because that's where the episode ends. Now, if you don't want to hear anything about episode 7, you can get out of here, but we're gonna have to jump into it because we gotta finish this list. We can't just stop right there. We
Yeah.
gotta continue this thing going. So we start with episode 7, friend or foe. We get back to Jackie, who decides to pick Phil 451. And she says she trusts he will make the right decision. So when she picks him, are you surprised?
No, not surprised. The rule that was clearly told before we started elimination was you cannot influence the other people's decisions. So yeah, like when she said that, when you say, and you feel indebted to the person who just saved you, right? They saved you, they gave you the chance to move on, and they didn't need to do that. So of course, if someone gets picked, they just save you, and they say, "But I trust this person's gonna do the right thing." What the hell is the right thing, man? Like, so that was heavily influencing Phil's decision. So yeah, I was not cool with what she said. I knew she would pick Phil, but just on the end of breaking rules, and Netflix or Squid Game was all about even playing field. You can't break the rules. If you break the rules, you're eliminated. Like, that was one moment where I thought she straight up broke the rule. And there was one more instance later that I'll cover when you get there.
Okay, we got these rule breaking incidents that there's a lot of things that, so I noticed throughout the show that Netflix doesn't air all the rules that was stated to us. Like for Dalgona, they said no games. We did a race, you know. So a whole bunch of craziness is going on right now, coach. Stop the count. Stop the count. Anyways, we continue. So I was on 451.
Yeah, Phil.
Yes, Phil. I was on Phil. He picks Ashley 278. Ashley then picks Sam 16 because that's her guy. So there's a little hope right now. You know, Sam gotta come through for the rest of the players. But he ain't playing with y'all. He playing with the girls. So then Sam picks I always say her name wrong. Shibhan 23. I say her name wrong all the time.
Who's 23?
The black girl with the glasses and the dreadlocks.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you.
So then she picks Rose 221. Then Rose picks 355, whose name is losing me right now. 355 is, bear with me 1 second. 355 is Hallie, redhead. Yes.
No. She picked Chaz. Who picked Chaz?
She
222 or 221. So she
221. Yeah. Wait, did I skip somebody? Yeah, I skipped somebody. 51 picks 221. Ugh, getting all out of order.
And that's where I'll kick in too. It shows 221 goes Chaz.
Yes, Chaz.
Right? Chaz is up, and it's back to a guy, right? There's one girl left at this point. It's Hallie and Chaz. And I got some DMs about this. I got like a couple comments about this too. Chaz goes up there and he goes, "Well, I see. Representation is important." And that's what he starts his line with. And I look up there. Last I checked, I see no Asian males. I see one Asian Mai, but like her and me, very different, right? Age, gender, nationality, like all different. So I'm like, yo, okay, I see. I think a lot of things check the box for diversity, but I don't see no Asian males up there. I don't see no Koreans up there. So well, the minute Chad says this, like actually Jordan was thinking the same thing. Player 222. We talked about this later too, and I'm like, yo, I feel good. Like he's either gonna call me or he's gonna call Korean Chaz or he's gonna call AK. And then I think whoever gets called up, we're set. Bro fucking goes, representation matters. And he picks the last female that's left, man. They're well represented. They have 8 people up there. Like, it's all good. I feel like Hallie was going to be up there anyways in the top 20 later down the road once her friends got picked. But, bro, you can't say representation matters and then pick the last one. Come on, Chaz. I like Chaz.
Yeah.
Over here and there, but, bro, come on.
Hey, you got it. Chaz podcast is dropping tomorrow as well. We speak to him. It's dropping as well, so he gives his intake on why he did what he did in there.
Sure.
So check it out. But yes, I thought, I had a conversation with him about this too. I had a conversation with him about this too. I was just asking about other options, but another day. But anyways, yes, he picks Hallie 355. All the girls are finally picked. So now we have, I think, about 6 people left. So she picks then 429. 429 is
Roland. She picks Roland.
Roland. No, Roland's 418. 429 is Elliot.
Oh, you're right. She picked Elliot. That's right.
Yes, she picked Elliot. Then Elliot picks 418 Roland.
So
Then
there's
Roland.
my next spot where I'll have to stop you. Second rule break right here of the game. I don't know if anyone else told you. I said you can't influence other people's decisions. Hallie picks Elliot, and then as we're paused in between, because we had 10, 20 minutes where they're like, okay, you can go on, pick the next person. She whispers something in Elliot's ear, and the person who's watching, organizing the game, like screams. Actually, it's the first time they yell. They're like, stop whispering in his ear. You can't say anything. She already said what she had to say. And she clearly influenced the decision, but nothing happened. So that's the second rule. And that's honestly what most people were upset about. After everyone left, the group of 11 that left, dude, it got a little messy out there. There was some chair kicking and shit, swears once people left because people were fucking pissed. Won't necessarily say who, but yeah, that was the main argument, and we were all pissed. It was like, you guys preach rule breaking is elimination, even playing field and all that, and straight up broke the rule, like blatantly whispered in his ear. So that's one thing that I was not cool with. Nothing against Hallie. I like Hallie. I like everyone that was up there, but just they broke the rules. So, like,
That's not cool, man. Come on now, Squid Games. Y'all gotta stick to it, man. Don't be switching up things. I don't like that, man. That's not cool. You had it out. That's not cool. I know they don't want to interrupt kind of what's going on,
right.
But you guys got to put your foot down. Don't put rules up there and say this is a game and then switch it up. Unfortunately, this is TV at the end of the day, and they're gonna do what they want to do. But just do the players and the participants a service. This is like late in the game, and you gotta stick with what y'all saying, man. Accountability comes on all sections. You want us to be accountable and follow the rules, y'all gotta be accountable and enforce the rules.
Yes, sir.
So I'm disappointed in hearing that. But I'll finish off once we continue, because I did hear about some of the things that was said after.
All right, yeah.
And it was crazy.
Yeah, sure was, man.
But then, okay, so Roland's next, and he picks 301 Trey. Trey then picks 269 James, and James has the last pick. How are you? Are you close with James? Like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, I felt like I had a shot. With the remaining players, I knew it was down to me, or I thought in my head it was down to me or Perna, because from what I understood, I think the other players that were remaining, James didn't interact with too much, have like deep conversations with. James and I were pretty chill. We would joke about, because he's from Korea. He was one of the two people that came from Korea. So him and I talked about like Korean restaurants and stuff like that, cracking jokes here and there. It's funny. There was one scene where I'm actually like, the one time I cried was like falling on the stairs talking with Korean chats, because we were just sharing some like family history and shit like that. But James came up to us and he was like, "Oh, Gino, are you okay?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, like thanks for checking up. I'm fine." And I didn't really like share my story or anything. But yeah, so like, because James and I were chill at that point, I felt like I had a shot. Didn't feel the best about it, because in earlier picks I felt better that I would get called up. But yeah, so I'm nervous for sure. Don't want to go home, but knew it was down to me and Perna. And the minute James said his reasoning, which also didn't make the air, he said he's picking this person because they are going to be an inspiration to his students. So background on James, he teaches North Korean refugees English in Korea. That's what he used to do before he moved back here recently. And the minute he said that, I knew Perna was like a refugee, was in like a refugee camp for years. So I was like, yeah, I know he's not really, after hearing that, but I felt like I had a shot.
Yeah, man, you was close, but James picks 31 Perna.
Yeah.
And that is everyone. And sadly, that is where our friend 30 G News game ends abruptly.
It sucked, man. It sucked going out like that. It really did. I mean, I'm sure the other 10 people can attest. Like, I want to control my own fate. If I lost in a game, marbles. Any other game, happy with it. But I'm thankful for the chance to have gone on for sure. It was such a great experience, but leaving like that sucked. it sucked.
Yeah, man. So tell me the vibe when y'all get back, because I heard, Chaz talks about this a little in his, you know, in his episode, in his podcast, which is coming out soon.
You said Chaz did?
Chaz does. He talks about it. He talks about a little what's going on.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna probably upload this tonight, anyways, because I forgot I set his to upload at midnight, and it is past midnight, so it's uploaded or it's premiered. But
Gotcha.
yeah, he tells me a little bit about, so y'all can check his out if you want to hear some things that are said. But tell me what your take on this, on the vibe is once the voting or the picking up is done.
Oh, you're talking about Korean Chaz talked about this.
No, Black Chaz.
I guess how did he speak to it, because he wasn't eliminated?
Well, he speaks on his point of view of the vibe on you guys, like how the interaction is, because I said, well, what's the vibe like once the guys found out they're eliminated and whatnot, and he tells me, everyone's highly upset and there's some things being said and whatnot. So tell me what's going on, like how is it on your point of view?
Yeah, it was like all the guys dapped each other up, were like, yo, good game, good playing. It was we lost some bros, man. If you look at the numbers, I think the commonality, it was a lot of dudes, a lot of guys that liked sports, that were athletic, that played sports, like Dan, like a minor league baseball player, Preston, college baseball player, D1. Like a lot of, like Eric played very competitive soccer. So a lot of guys, I think, that were pretty similar in that sense. So yeah, we had some bros that I feel like would have made some noise in the next round.
So what's the vibe like when y'all get back to the hotel, man?
Pissed, bro. Honestly, no. First thing, hungry as fuck, because being in there, being starved. I lost 12 pounds when I was there, probably a little more. So I weighed myself a few days later. There's a picture that R. Kelly put up in the group chat, and like I look like a skeleton, bro. So like the minute I saw that picture, I was like, shit, I actually don't want airtime too much because I look like a fucking skeleton. But yeah, I was hungry first and foremost. I think we kind of cooled our heads a little bit on the drive back to the hotel. That's where I found out, where Dan told me, and AK's like, oh, like, well, like, who are you close to with? We told him Mai and Chad. He's just like laughing. He's like, yo, they were talking shit about you the whole time. Like they said, watch out for you. And like Dan was upset too. But that's when I found out Chad told Dan what he did, and we were able to relate. And we were like, you know what, like this sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, before the car ride where we cooled our heads a little bit, there were some chairs being kicked right outside the room where, you call the medic, you get like lozenges and shit just outside that blue door that people see. Some swearing, just disbelief, honestly. Like some guys are like, dude, I can't fucking believe this. Like I can't fucking believe this. Same thing just being said over and over. So yeah, it was like people were pissed. I think more than disappointed or sad, people were like pissed. Yeah, so that's the vibe right there. That's what happened.
Yeah, man, that's gotta be that's tough pill to swallow, man, and you're gonna need a lot of water for that. And it's just, it's a lot of good guys, like you said, you named them. The way it went down, where it came down to sex.
Yep.
And I root for all women. I want women to succeed. I'm all that, but sometimes doing that, it's a little hypocritical when we want to be treated equal, but then at the same time, 10 guys, 10 girls,
Yep. Yeah, DeAndre, you I'm gonna say, if you were up there, I think you would have been with us, man. Just checking the boxes of a sports bro. Like, yeah.
Well, I think Mai or Chad would have picked me. Chad would have probably picked me, just because if I was there at that point, I was really like, the people who I was tight with was them two. And at that point, if it was 286, 286, 287, 288, like that's not being broken up, in my opinion, unless something crazy happens, and I become the scapegoat. Or Chaz, Black Chaz, would have picked me, or those are the only two people up there I feel like would have probably picked. Maybe James, but everyone thought he wasn't gonna pick me because he was gonna pick Perna. So I wouldn't have been picked over Perna either, even though me and James were cool, but not to that extent. So yes, I think I had an opportunity just because of my number relation with those two and my, regular relationship with Chaz. I'm hopeful, but who knows? I mean, I could have been just with y'all and I would have been like, dang, y'all snaked me out.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The number relationship is a big thing for sure. But the minute we left, everyone was like, I thought so and so would have picked me, so and so would have picked me. So they all had like 3-4 people that were like, yo, they were gonna pick me. So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, so when you get home, you fly on the plane, get back home. How are you feeling once you get back home to the States?
Yeah, it was just get back to life, man. It was like a couple weeks just off the grid, no phone, no nothing. So yeah, just honestly, it was busy hitting the ground running once I got home with the baby and all.
Yeah, man. In finance season, it's the busiest time of year for you too. So definitely, you did not have a chance to sit down and catch your breath. You had to get right back to it because tax season is upon us. Woo!
Right.
I felt that, boy.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
man,
Thankfully, I
I
don't do passes, but I don't work on that end. But yeah, you're right. It was a busy time for sure.
yeah, first quarter ain't time to play around.
Mhm.
Well, man, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I didn't mean for this to go over so long, but this
It's
was great time, man. We dove deep into what went down into Player 30's game, as well as episode 6,
uh-huh.
sorry, 6 and a little bit of 7.
Yeah.
Definitely, Jinwoo, you are a great dude, man. I know we didn't get to talk much in the game. We got to talk a couple times.
Yeah.
But definitely glad to talk now and, establish a relationship. And definitely, I'm rooting for you, man. You have beautiful family. I saw the pictures, man. Congrats again on the birth a
Yeah.
year ago. About to be a birthday, essentially,
Right.
coming up.
Right.
That's crazy. That's insane, man. I love it. And just keep your head up, regardless of all the stuff that went down.
Yeah.
You have bigger and better things coming towards you. I can feel it, man. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep doing what you're doing, and don't stop, man.
For sure. Appreciate you, man. DeAndre, huge shout out. Like you said, I know we didn't get to talk much in the dorms. Like you said, I'm really glad we got to chat for what, hour and a half now. But yeah, it was good chatting with you. Really enjoyed it. Keep this up. I know this grind, the thing you're doing right now, is like an idea that I floated and a lot of people have talked about. I don't know how many people are actually carrying through with it, but dude, this shit's a lot of work. I know. So keep it up. I know it's a grind, but thank you for doing it and really appreciate it. And looking forward to seeing this as well as all the other interviews that you've done. So appreciate
Oh
it,
yeah,
man.
man.
You're a real one, bro. Yeah, I'm glad we got to chat now.
Hey, I'm trying out here. I'm here to represent
Yes,
and use what's his face's line. Representation.
Oh, Chaz. I gotta see.
I'm gonna get on his head. I'm gonna call him on and get on his head about that. I'm gonna be like, bruh, what you mean? You picking no offense. Look,
yeah,
no offense.
That's literally what the other Koreans messaged me about. It wasn't about like, dude. Well, some people were like, dude, I was mad you got eliminated or so what. But like, I think multiple different people said I was shook by the fact that he said representation and then he chose a girl, which I also was. So, but yo, Chaz the baller. I like Chaz.
Yeah, we like you, Chaz, but you definitely you look, Chaz. Come on now, come on. We talked about this already. Come on, coach.
I gotta see
Come
this
on,
now.
coach.
I gotta see this now.
Oh, it's gonna be good. I actually realized it doesn't upload until noon tomorrow, so we good. This one's gonna upload earlier than that one, so we gonna be good. That one premieres at noon tomorrow. So, but yeah, man, I'll let you get some sleep, man. I know it's getting late. Tomorrow's Friday. You still got work in the morning. I appreciate you again for spending this time with me, man. When I'm in Chicago, I'll be in Chicago actually in a month.
Okay,
I'm coming out I'm coming on the 21st or 22nd. I'm only gonna be there for one day. But if you there still, I'm gonna hit you up. I'll be there the 20.
What brings you to town?
I just decided to come for one day before Christmas. Literally, that's it.
You got like any friends here? Or?
I have some friends there, so I'll be there the 26th. I believe. What day is Christmas? The hell? I'll be there the 20th or the 21st or the 19th. The 19th. Look, bro, I'll be there one of those days. I will let you know which day I'm coming.
Sounds good, bro. I mean, all good if you're hanging out with your buddies. Like, I know how it is. Like,
I'm down to come see you, my man. I gotta come see you. Forget them. I ain't worried about them.
Let's put our Chicago spot together, then. We got a decent amount of people here, so I'll let them know you're coming. Try to get something together. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, coach. Well,
all
till
right.
then, y'all, peace and blessings. Have a wonderful rest of the night or day. And I will catch you on the flip side.
Good shit. Appreciate you, DeAndre. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.